everybody. This is Solfege Live with Jack Stevenson. And that's me, Jack. And today, this is video number 5. And today, we're going to do the same thing that we always do. Just listen. Bum bum bee bum bee bum bee bum bee bum ba dee dum bum bee. So it's a melody that's all seconds. And of course, it's in Do major. Today we're going to work on those pesky clefs. And just exactly how we read in clefs, why, more importantly, do we read in clefs? Okay, now here is what the melody would look like. If you're seeing here, it starts on the first line of the 5-note staff. Now, this really, we got here, I'm skipping a bit, we got here by way of dictation. That we get the students to write the melody down after they learn it, then they write it down just like this. And I could tell them to start on the first line or the first space or the second line, wherever I feel like. And I always like to start on the first line. Now, that's a whole procedure that I'm not doing right now. We're skipping that. And if you want that procedure, I'm happy to do it. Just in the email, send me an email, and I'll be happy to give you a whole video, a whole demonstration on how to do this dictation. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So we get a chance to really sing and use our scale, because remember, we're always just singing the scale in a variety of ways. No matter what melody you sing, no matter how complicated it is, just remember, it's only a scale. And you know your scales, you can sing anything. So here we have, this is in Do. Now, we could say to the students, well, you know, let's not call this first note Do. Let's call it Re. Okay. So we're going to say Re, Mi, Fa, Sol. Now notice I'm speaking the note names now. I'm not going to sing them yet. I'm just going to name them. So Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re. Now it's the same idea. We're still just in our scale. So now if this is Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re. Now we could also sing it in different rhythms. So we could sing that instead of on Re, we could sing it on Sol. Sol, La, Si, Do, Si, Do, Si, La, Si, Do, Si, La, Sol. Now we could go back down to Do. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. Down to C. Don't forget, add a rhythm. Si, do, re, mi, do. Si, do, re, do, si. Then back to do, re, mi, fa, re. Mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah. So we can jump to any pitch in the scale and we sing the same exact melody, but we're singing it always in Do major. So we're not literally transposing it to other keys. We're just transposing it to other spots on the staff or on the scale. So this is going to be Do, then it becomes Re, then it becomes Mi, then it becomes Fa, then it becomes Sol. Now, what's really going on here is that, and I've yet to reveal to the students, that we're actually singing and reading in different clefs. So you see, I have revealed the entire page here. And you see that I have a clef here. This is a do clef. Some people call it a C clef, or a ut clef. A lot of people in Europe still use this term ut because that was the original do, of course. So this is cle ut. Most oftentimes, when I was a student, this is what we called it. And it was on the first line. And it has, so wherever this little squiggle here in the middle sits, it always sits on a line. Clefs are always on lines. They're never in spaces. They're always on lines. So the clef tells me this is do, or ut, or C, middle C, right here on the first line. So if this is do, this becomes re, this becomes mi, this becomes fa, etc. Everything is then relative to where do is. So it's clever because you can see here do, and the top of the clef here just breezes sol. So we have do and sol. Down on the next line, so, and this I don't know if I said this or not, this is actually the soprano clef. Each clef has its own special name that's related to a special voice range. So the soprano clef, obviously, the do has to be rather low on the staff so that the soprano has ample room above that do line for notes to pass and stay in her soprano voice. Here, the do has shifted up a line. You see, now this same pitches, I'm sorry, not same picture, same image, look identical, but in my brain, I have flipped the do to be here on the second line. This is called the mezzo-soprano clef. Now, Dalcroze didn't, at first, when he's in his book about the petit pot, he didn't use clefs. He used the letter D as for do. He would put the D in different places. I don't like doing that. I learned ages ago, ages and ages when I was a young teacher, show the students what it really is. Don't make up stuff that they just have to relearn. So because this is just as easy to see that this spot here is do as it is to put a letter name on it. So the do here goes on the second line. So then this, if this is do, this is si, this is la. So now we have la, si, do, re, si, do, re, mi, re, do, si, la. And I happen to be reading in mezzo-soprano clef, but am I thinking that? Not necessarily at all. I'm thinking, okay, if this is do, then this becomes la. So if this is la, the next door neighbor is si. Next door up is do. Next door up is re. Then do. Then re. Do. Si. Do. Re. Mi. Re. Do. Si. La. So I'm now doing this on la. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. All I'm doing is singing next door neighbors in the scale or key of do. Then the next one down. Let's see if we can move this. Yeah. And now you see that the treble clef, the do clef, the ut clef has moved to the middle line. And this one probably a lot of people are familiar with. This is the actual alto clef, where the middle line now is do. So if this is do, and look, now, this is do, and then this is sol up here. The top line is going to be sol. Now, what's the bottom line? Fa, fa, fa. This becomes fa, sol, la, si, sol, fa, sol, la, si, sol, fa. So we have this fa here because the middle line is do. In the Dalcroze world, we use 7 clefs. These are the 7 common clefs that we use in the Dalcroze world. Now you say to yourself, well, why? Well, look, if I use each one of these clefs, do can be on any line or space. I can shift where do is on the staff. This is important. very important, because now if I know this, I can actually transpose to other keys. Okay, here we are in a different location in the book, and this is where we work on melodies. Not sight-sing melodies, practice singing melodies. And all the stuff, the introduction to this all talks about how to practice. So here we have our first melody, and it's in treble clef, happens to be. Okay, so let's call this do at the top. So do, I think. Here we go. So let's say do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, la, si, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, la, si, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And then, of course, it repeats because everything should. Anyway, so we're singing this in do, and we can learn this. And if you notice, what is it? It's just simply the scale again. It's just the scale. So here we have the scale, okay, going down and then comes back up. So if I say to my students, let's read this and call this first note, I don't know, fa. But we could also sing it, calling the first note fa, but staying in do major. Fa, mi, re, do, si, do, re, mi, re, do, si, la, si, do, re, do, si, la, sol, la, si, do, do, re, mi, do. We're still feeling tonic is do, but we could sing it that way if we wanted to, and sometimes it's fun. So we can sing it because we're just using the do scale. Now, it's not going to end on tonic, but who cares? We're practicing the scale, practicing the rhythm, and learning to sing different names for each, learning to use each clef differently. Now, let's look down at number 3, where we have already number 3 is using the mezzo clef. The soprano clef. So guess what? That first pitch, again, is do. And of course, here we have the Roman numbers indicated, where we could sing 1 7 7 1 7 6 5 4 4 3 2 3 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 1 7 6 5. Right? So I'm still in do major. 5 do. Now, so if we call it do si la sol, fa fa mi re re. Now I'm not thinking what clef I'm in. Now, because I've been doing this for 100 years, I can tell you it's right away. I know it's in soprano clef. I know right away it is. But that's only because I came to learn them individually and collectively at the same time. So here, do si la sol. So it's easy for me to look at the line or look at the space and name the pitch without really thinking twice almost. It becomes an automatism, just like it is in treble clef. I learned this. I wasn't born doing this. I learned how to do this. Now, you say, what good is this? Why do I need this? I don't need this. I don't need to read in different clefs. I'm never going to conduct blah, blah. But you are going to play the piano, and you're going to play the piano for children or for anybody, and you're going to have to transpose. Now, in a eurythmics lesson, I have often had to transpose a melody. I thought, generally, I kind of always feel like for kindergarten, first grade, maybe even second grade, Mi major is a great key for them. But sometimes I'm wrong, and of course, and then I have to move it down or I have to move it up. So what I thought was going to be Mi must become Re. Now I have to play it in Re. So when I'm doing this stuff in the book work, and I want my students to learn to do this, I want them to take it to the piano as well as sing it. It really doesn't, it does us really little good unless we take it to the piano. So that first pitch is do. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, do, si, la, sol. Oh, this is a Dalcroze piece. I just realized that. Yeah, this is right out of his book. And I don't know why. I shortened it. That's what I did. So, and then if I say, okay, now call the first note re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, do, si, la. You see, so I'm learning to put, when I go up and down on the piano, I know it's left and right. When I can step it forward and backward, I can sing it, I can do all these things. And then when I taught children, I would tell one child goes to the piano and they put their fifth finger up on the do, si, la, sol. Now, let's say and of course, in my school, I was teaching them piano at the same time. So it's very easy, not necessarily when I was in New York teaching in 10 years. I wasn't teaching piano to the same children I was teaching. But I did have them play because even with just one finger. So they get the up and down. And then I actually got them playing with their right hands. Many of the kids, by the time they were in second grade, they really could use at least one hand to play a simple melody. That was important. I always wanted them to take. Now, Suzuki takes it to the violin, and Orff takes it to the instruments, and Kodai, I'm not sure. They always are singing, I think. I'm not sure if they take it to an instrument or not, but I like to take it to the piano. And I try to do that with all of my solfege work as much as possible. Take it to the piano, apply it to the instrument. So here we have the melody written out. Now we could sing this, calling that first note any different number of letter names, and therefore change the key. Now, change the position, or change the clef. Now, if I want to change the key, let's pretend I know Sol major. I haven't done it yet, we haven't done it yet, but let's pretend we know Sol major. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, sol. So here's the tonic sol. So that's going to be tonic sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, la. I'm transposed it now to sol. Now, here's Dalcroze's version of the same thing that I've done in my book. Here he shows the D again. He's using the D instead of the clef. But so the D is, see, on different lines, which means we're using the ut clef on the various lines. And so here he uses the treble clef, and this first pitch is do. And he marks it do octave higher than normal do, middle do. And then the students read do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, si. Now here, the second one, same picture, same exact picture. But the D, the clef, is at the top, meaning that the top line is do, which means this bottom space is also do. So do, mi, sol, then this has to be sol. Then he even marks it for the student so that they know, okay, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol. Now, look, all next door neighbors. This is in the what's it called? Étude de la portée musicale. Étude de la portée musicale. It's all in this book. And this book is all in do major. And it's the book that comes before volume, the first book in solfege. Again, 1906. And so here we have it in sol. Then here we have it then in two flats, si bemol, B flat, sorry. Same picture, but now we're going to call the first si bemol. So si, do, re, mi, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. So, same exact exercise. I'm not making these things up. Of course, as a licentiate student and a diplôme student in Geneva, under my teachers, we did it. It was just done. Was there any given explanation why? Not really. No, nobody said anything. It was just the thing we did. We learned all the 7 clefs because that's what Dalcroze taught. All 7 clefs simultaneously, just the way I explained it to you. It's all in his books. That Portée Musicale book that I showed you a little bit. And it's very clearly delineated that it's necessary in order for us to transpose. It's a very clever way. And actually, if you think about it, when you transpose, you're really, in a way, doing movable do at the same time. Because if we want to sing in Fa major on a staff in movable do, the first space is do. And if I know the first space is do, I'm in baritone clef. You see, right away. So I'm actually, if I wanted to sing that in movable do, I'm going to sing that in baritone clef. And I'm doing movable do. But it's so much easier to learn to sing in the different clefs, and then you can use movable do and fixed do at the same time. You see, it's another way Dalcroze blended movable and fixed together. The 7 clefs are a vital practice for every Dalcrozian to learn. You need it for so many different reasons, especially for your brain, your ear, your eye, and your coordination with your fingers. All those things are very, very important, especially to people who are learning the method. We've got to learn this is part of the method. It's not separate from the method. This is part of what he taught. And we all know if we follow what he taught, in the end, we're most grateful because he knew what he was doing. He knew where he was going. He knew what people needed, and he knew why they needed it. So these pesky clefs are really a problem if you don't start from just seconds and learn to read all 7 of them. Now, after that rather long video, believe it or not, there's more to this than what I've even just explained. Remember, I didn't talk about the dictation because that's really a part of it. And I haven't talked about my clef, circle of clefs, and how we quickly transpose using the circle of clefs. So that's for another video when we get to it in the textbook, perhaps. But we really do need to move on to another key. As I mentioned earlier, we introduce sol major, and that's probably what we should do. And then we'll work on how to introduce a key and all of the different things we could do with the new key to make sure we know it just as well as we know do. And of course, we can't go anywhere unless we really know do. That is our base for everything. So, till next time, I want to thank you for this and for taking the time. And if you've made it all this way, congratulations. And please remember to subscribe and to like and to comment. And don't be afraid to write me some emails about what you're interested in learning or what you're interested about going over or learning more about. I'm happy to help in any way possible. So till next time, thanks a million.